what does gender mean to me? Well, I don't get hung up on gender per se, but it is a construct that signifies how one would care to interact with society, covering a whole slew of potential areas. And so in that, it's a way to go and identify and let other folks know how you would want to be interacted with. That's what gender means to me.
The topics being shared were really insightful from the guest speaker clips. And that led to us talking about how, as society, we can subconsciously categorize people by gender. And that's something that some people might not notice, or some people, it might be really impactful. So that awareness that's coming from it.
Where to start? I mean, I could say anything from going for a walk, driving, security checkpoints, shopping for groceries, clothing, or going to a restaurant. Even being at a park with my daughter or just out in public. Even wanting to be myself at work. Discomfort or fear in these situations can come from external or internal sources, be it the horrible laws being pushed, rhetoric against the LGBTQ community, people staring beyond mere curiosity, not to mention comments. All of this can lead to even more internal discomfort and negativity, bringing oneself down with fear of passing, violence, or just being able to exist and be accepted as a person versus an oddity or sideshow, and just leads to avoiding things like restrooms or going out at all.
I live here, and sometimes I decide to get my nails painted, and I'm still surprised that living in a progressive city, how many comments I get, both some that are really nice and some that are not so nice. Such a small thing that I do, but it's amazing how many people are offended by something so small. And I hear the story like of Jennifer talking about, being out at the park and all of those things. And I think this is the experience I get. What must it be for people who may not live in such progressive areas and understand how it could be scary?
Is there a story behind my chosen name? My name is Chris, spelled C-R-I-S. And for two reasons, I like this name very much. So, when I point out this spelling, part of that is that actually it goes back to a really old friendship. And a friend of mine even decided on the spelling of that name. And so it makes me think of that friend using that name. And the other thing is, it's a androgynous name. It's a name that doesn't have an inherent gender. So if somebody's just reading my name, they have no way of second guessing what gender they think might be my gender. They have no way of second guessing me before they actually get to know me. And this is something I appreciate. And fun fact, since I have synesthesia and I see colors in names, this name is also a very nice silvery white. So I find it also a very beautiful name.
Tucker is actually my last name, and it's my preferred name to go by for kind of a similar reason to what Chris had mentioned about, like, when people read that name, if they know it's my last name, it's hard for them to determine a gender based on that, right? Because anybody's last name can be masculine or feminine. And as a non-binary person, that feels, more me, not being able to pin down a gender. The only people that even call me my first name anymore is my family. Even like my best friends that I've known for like a decade now, they still call me Tucker.
We were just saying we're very fortunate that the sex or gender we were born with is also the one we identify with. I've always been able to identify with my name. if you weren't able to do that, we were saying we can only imagine like how difficult that would be. But when you are then able to identify with your name, it would also be quite empowering.
My question to you, Beck, would be actually, why do you shorten your name to Beck and not have your name as Rebecca?
It's a good question, Ian. I do not know why. I'm lazy. I just prefer Beck. It's easier. It's more relaxed. I feel like Rebecca's quite formal.
Makes you think?
It does. I'd never thought about it till you asked me.
This is kind of a general question. I don't know if it's necessarily related to like gender, but like, when do you feel most confident? For me, that is when I am caring for someone or helping someone. So I guess in this particular context, I feel most confident when I am working with and feeling that I'm contributing to my community. And so I feel most confident, I guess, in my transition, say working with our employee resource group at work, and being visible and just doing whatever I can to go and make this path easier for other folks. So that's when I feel most confident.
We spoke about how pleasant it is to work here in Fujitsu, where there's lots of diversity and we can be who we are with no problems, we feel confident working here. It's one of the most important things we pointed out.
We also spoke about, feeling confident when we are around an atmosphere, where we can trust people, where I can be myself. And, when people let us be who we are and there is no stereotyping, the entire vibe around is good. People are smiling and, make you feel confident. And that is the time, when you feel that, yes, you'll make it through.
What have I learned about gender? I've learned a lot about gender. I thought I knew a lot about gender already. I certainly prepared myself before coming out as non-binary to be able to explain to friends, family, co-workers what that actually means, because people ask a lot of questions. And really, it turns out I didn't know all that much myself, and I'm still learning more because gender is a complex topic and also fascinating.
So the first thing we talked about was cooking, and I don't exactly know if it's a good example of an activity that's like flipped or previously been associated, but we were discussing how like cooking in general is like typically used to be like a female dominated activity, but now we were sort of talking about MasterChef, and we're talking about how now or chefs are typically male, or like kitchens and the chefing profession is male dominated. So that's an activity that we were talking about. It's been flipped. And then we also had some members in our breakout room who were from India, and they were talking about how driving's become really different now, and now they're more like women driving. So that was an interesting observation as well from their region.
There are so many things here, but I think I enjoy recapturing self-expression the most. I suppressed so many of my desires, wants, and portions of my inner self or personality because they were bad, wrong, or undesirable for so long that finally being able to dip a toe into the pool and let some color and vibrance back in and begin to actually live my life, even in small ways or internally, is an amazing experience that can bring forward just raw joy that I haven't felt since I was a small child.
Something that comes to my mind right now is, take care of your kids, go in the kitchen and do more cooking.
Really, my lesson at this point is ask the person. There is no way to generalize it. Ask people around you what they feel about gender and think about gender for yourself.